So in Virginia, as we all know, the biggest thing that everyone should be talking about are early voting. We need people getting to the polls, not just because it's important to vote because it's a democratic right, but because for many of our jurisdictions, your vote is going to matter in the primaries, and whoever gets elected in the primary will likely be elected in the general. So if you want to weigh in on important races like your state Senate race, your state House race, your school board race, your county board race, your sheriff's race, this is the time to do it. I just went and did votes in Vino with my lovely friends from WOFA last night. So we all got together at 4:30. We went to the registrars in Arlington, we cast our votes, we took some photos, and then we went and had some wine together because we should make voting fun. But I will say it's really important to be paying attention to what's on the ballot because there are also some new ways that some of our jurisdictions are doing this, right? So in Arlington County, for our county board seats, we're using ranked choice voting. And it's really important to think about, well, what is the ranked choice voting strategy, for you as a voter? Because the way ranked choice works generally is you choose your top person that you really want to have that seat. But if they don't get chosen, then your vote will go to the next person that you ranked as number 2. But so you want to think through, okay, how do I want my vote to count? When do I want my vote to count? Do I have a sense of who might be a front runner? Maybe they don't need my vote as number 1 because I really want to make sure this number 2 person has a really good chance of getting elected, right? So it's a little bit more strategy than we're used to, not the same as just filling out one bubble. We got to fill out multiple bubbles in different columns. So come prepared. And I think the other big thing for everyone in this room is talk to your friends and neighbors. I think there are some really difficult decisions that we have to make in these primaries. If you look at the state Senate, we have at least 5 really close state Senate primaries, where we have the opportunity to either elect the Democratic incumbent or elect someone who often might be a little bit more progressive. And it's a really important decision for people to be talking about and making. So I'm just going to remind everyone which those races are. We've got the Aird versus Morrissey race. We've got the Drawcheck versus Marsden race. We've got the Pekarsky versus Barker race, the Foy versus Ayala race, and the Salim versus Peterson race. So I really want folks to be thinking critically about how are you engaging in these primaries. Obviously, please vote early. Please make sure other people know how easy it is to vote early. But in addition to that, get involved in these primaries. I'm going to put a couple of options in the chat, which I just happen to have available. One is a phone bank for LaCherice Aird. Another is a canvas for Heidi Drawcheck. But if you have others, I encourage you to put them in the chat as well. We really don't have that much time left before June 20th to get people engaged and knowledgeable about what's happening in the primaries this year. Of course, the Virginia Grassroots Coalition is also looking forward to our general elections, and we're coming up with a strategy for how we want to adopt candidates this year so we can make sure that we are distributing all of our energy in a way that's most effective and efficient. So the way we're planning on doing this is we're going to be designing what we're calling power packs. Thank you to Stair. Thank you, Stair. And the power packs are the concept of how are we grouping campaigns together where they overlap in jurisdictions to make sure that when we're canvassing for them or we're supporting them at a fundraiser or, we are writing postcards for them, we're also helping the other campaigns that overlap with their space. So for example, you've got Prince William County, where Danica Rome has already created her own power pack, overlapping with 3 different House races. But what we're going to be doing at our Sunday Virginia Grassroots Coalition meeting is actually looking at the data and looking at which power packs are out there. And we're going to encourage each group to adopt one power pack, right? That gives you the chance to support a Senate candidate, a number of House races, and the local races too, which we know are so critically important as well. Additionally, we do want to encourage you, not everyone's going to fit in a power pack. So we want to say, please also pick one additional candidate who's a bit of a stretch race, but really important in investing in. either we could possibly flip it this year, or maybe we're building the ground to do really well in the next cycle. But we want to have that further outreach, because as we know, the typical groups who are going to fundraise and invest in the elections this year are going to ignore those candidates. So we want to make sure that we are taking them seriously and getting excited for them, just like we heard from Tina. This is really important role for us as well. So I want to invite you to our coalition meeting that is happening on Sunday, starting at 6 p.m. We will be doing some strategy work there. As I mentioned, we have 2 guest speakers. We have candidate Salim is joining us, as well as candidate Birajij from the Loudoun County. So we're excited to hear from both of them. And the last thing I just wanted to mention, Catherine, as you alluded to, Mountain Valley Pipeline, not the way we wanted it to go. However, we do have our pipelines working group, and they are thinking through what are our next set of strategies. One of the things that we've been trying to do over the last couple of years was to get some of the companies that are bought into the pipeline to decide it's really not a good business model for them. So instead of looking to the government to make these choices, we can also look to the business sector and say, you also can think critically about this, and this just doesn't make sense for you either. Right. So there are lots of angles. And just as a reminder, so advocacy can happen both within the halls of government, but also outside of government, in the corporate sector and in other places. So we are looking at all options that are still on the table.
Right. We know, the folks have been working on this for years too. It just killed me to see that insertion into that debt crisis bill that had nothing to do with the debt issue, right? We know that. And then it just subverts the people. I mean, this is sort of a people thing, as we say. It really just gets people just a little bit revved up. Okay, the fox is here. You can hear the dog in the background. But I do want to talk about the Women's Summit. Yes. We want to have a little plug, because Friday night at the Women's Summit, let's just talk for new people in the room, that part of this whole group, and when Luisa talked about the coalition, this last so many years working together, we have this great event called the Women's Summit. And on Friday night, Luisa, we're going to be doing all about grassroots power, and it's going to be called Grassroots Rise Up. We have Delegate Sam Russell coming, of course. And you know how we used to meet in the basement?
I know. So I'm so excited to kind of relive. So all good social movements, as we all know, start in church basements. And so this social movement also started in a church basement in Arlington, Virginia. And we want to get that feel back. I think the challenge it's so great that we have Zoom, because it allows our statewide coalition to work across the state. But we need to have time back in person. We need to have time to reconnect. We need to have time to have these strategic conversations about how are we supporting our candidates this election? What other issues, including the MVP, do we really need to come up with some new strategies for? And all that good stuff often happens, when we're in person, sometimes with a drink in our hands, sometimes not. But very excited to have that opportunity to get the grassroots back together again and give everybody time to be on the agenda. So this will feel like a coalition meeting in its own way, where you get to come share what you're up to, and we can have some really great, strategy time together, and a lot of fun.
Yeah. And we'll, Nope Neighbors will be coming from Maryland. We'll have some power hitters there. We have also Sister District. We have the Swing Left. What we want is all these groups coming together Friday night. It'll be like 7:30 p.m. That's July 22nd. Get your ticket. Robin, do you want to show the graphic? And get your ticket and bring a friend. Here's the challenge. What we need from you, we've organized this all. We have over 3 days, and you can plug and play. I mean, you can go shopping on one day if you really want to, teasing, but that's July 21st, 22nd, 23rd at the Hilton McLean Union Hotel in Tyson's Corner. And we're going to have great speakers. We have over 70 speakers. We have over 34 workshops. We are going to have over 3 stages. We're going to have performers. We're going to have it all. And what we're going to have is the candidates. And if you're a candidate in the room right now, use your emoji reaction and put your hand up. These candidates need our help and they want to meet with us. They will be coming. We'll have special workshops for them. We have especially school board, the grassroots coming together with these candidates, like you said, the Jessica Andersons out in Williamsburg, that are these candidates that may not be getting all the attention they need. They will get it at the summit. We will have resources for them, and those power packs will be on the stage. So get your ticket, help us. We need to sell at least 300 more tickets. We've already sold hundreds of tickets. We need some more so we can fill those seats up, and invite your friend, because everybody goes when your friend is going. And lastly, Robin put in the chat, we are going to have an all-call volunteer call. If you want to help us at the summit, you want to be part of the rest of the planning team, please come to the meeting. We'll put it into the Zoom, and also come to the coalition meeting, because that's where it happens. So thank you. That was a lot, but I think it was worth it.
Absolutely. Well, it's so great to be back with everyone. I will be here again next week with additional updates. And but please, if you are available, come to our Sunday's coalition meeting, where we will dive deeper into a lot of these topics related to the primaries and the general elections.